I'm back. Um, for this chapter, Genesis chapter 36, get your concordance because this is going to be all about the meaning of names, people's names. Because these meanings or these names that we're going to read, it's just interesting to see what they mean, to give maybe some context about their birth, because that's always what it's about when they're given their names. The other thing is, these names are going to play a significant role in Israel when they come out of Egypt into the land of their inheritance, the land of Canaan. When they come back, there's going to be a lot of these names brought up again because it'll be their descendants that Israel has to contend with. So in very literally, we have family feuds here. Yeah, they're generationally separated by multiple generations, but when Rebecca had Esau and Jacob in her womb, and God said, "You have two nations contending within you," that was absolutely the truth, because that becomes the reoccurring theme throughout the Old Testament, that the descendants of Esau, they fight with and contend with the descendants of Jacob. It seems that as we've read, Esau and Jacob have reconciled their differences, and they have reconciled their offenses, but that doesn't change what happens with families generationally separated. Because where Jacob's whole family leaves the land of Canaan, which is rightfully theirs from God's promise, from God's covenant, and that when Israel comes back, and we're going to read about all this, that's who's there, and they start kicking these people out, and it just stirs up family feuds again. So let's get started in Genesis chapter 36. Now I've got my phone concordance so I can read the definitions of these names, because trust me, I don't speak Hebrew. I struggle with the pronunciation in English, but in the concordance, the names are much easier to pronounce, because the names, as I mentioned last time, the English language has changed. So it's hard, you never quite know how to pronounce these names, because they've gone from Hebrew to Old English to Modern English, and changed significantly. One of the biggest examples of change is the name Jesus. Jesus is not how his name was pronounced in Hebrew or Aramaic. It was Yeshua. J being the sound of a Y, Yesu, Jesus. Anyways, that's just one of the examples. V and W, or V and U, have swapped places, so it gets confusing very quickly. But without any more rabbit trails and tangents, let's get started. Chapter 36, verse 1. Now, these are the generations of Esau, who was Edom. Now, the reason why they keep throwing at you Edom was not his birth name. Esau was his birth name, but he adopted the name Edom, or it was given to him, or stuck with him like a nickname, because of the red pottage that he sold his birthright to Jacob for. Esau means hairy, Edom means red. So we're not going to hear about Esau anymore after this until Israel returns to the land of their inheritance from Egypt, until the Exodus. But thus far, you'll always hear about the Edomites. You're not going to hear about the Esauites. That word doesn't. You might hear the descendants of Esau or something. But Edomites, when you hear Edomites, they are the descendants of Esau. So verse 2, Esau took his wives of the daughters of Canaan, Ada, the daughter of Elon the Hittite, and Aholibamah, the daughter of Anna, the daughter of Zibeon, the Hivite. So start down the names. We have the daughters of Canaan, Ada. Okay. Ada means ornament, so she must have been very pretty when she was born, or she was beautiful to look upon when she was born. That's just my conjecture. But you try to understand what the names are describing, or the event, or the circumstance the names are describing. Because Isaac means laughter. Well, we know that when the angel came and told Sarah that she was going to conceive, she laughed. And when Isaac was born, she laughed. So Isaac's name was Laughter. And that's the way it stayed until he died. So, now here's where I mentioned last time that the families of Noah were intermixing. And we'll see that right here. Because Esau, Edom, took wives of the daughters of Canaan. Okay, Canaan being the descendants of Ham. Ada, the daughter of Elon, the Hittite. So a Hittite was a descendant of Heth. Was it Ham or was it Heth? It could be both. It was both. Because you got to remember that when Shem, Ham, and Japheth got off the ark and started having children, they didn't stay within their own prospective children. Seth's children didn't just marry Seth's children. Heth's children didn't, not Seth, I'm sorry, Japheth. Japheth's children didn't marry just Japheth's children. Ham's children didn't marry just Ham's children. Shem's children didn't marry just Shem's children. They were all intermixing and intermingling. I'm sure. So it's foolish to say that Ham went this way, Shem went this way, and Japheth went this way. Maybe vaguely, but they were all intermarried. It's silly to think that they were separate. And Aholibama, tent of the high place. Were they in mountains when this person was born? Don't know. But at least it adds some context or some meaning to the name. And Bashemath? The daughter of Anna, daughter of Zibeon the Hivite. Now, we know a Hittite is a descendant of Heth. A Hivite is a descendant of Canaan. So it's both. It's descendant of Ham and Shem. All right, so verse 2. Took his wives, the daughters of Canaan, Ada, the daughter of Elon, the Hittite, and Aholibama, the daughter of Anna, the daughter of Zibeon. Zibeon means colored. Colored. Now, in today's context, society, at least especially in America and in the South, if you say that person's colored, that means that person is probably African descent or of some native descent, not European. It's funny that you describe colored as anything other than European. But there's a lot of strong evidence that the majority of people in this time frame were dark skinned. Were not European or pale skin like you and like a lot of us around the West. Moses likely didn't look like Charlton Heston. Moses was probably very dark skinned, as well as many of these descendants. So when they say he was colored, what does that mean? Don't know, but it's just interesting. Verse 3, and Bashemath, which means spice. Ishmael's daughter, sister of Naboth. Okay, so here we go. We know that Ishmael was the son of Abraham, who was a descendant of Shem. So we have, again, more Shem and Ham intermixing. And Ada bare to Esau Eliphaz. What's Eliphaz? God is fine gold. My God is fine gold. You know, it's funny that we compartmentalize and we think, okay, well, these are the children of Esau. They were all unbelievers. And you would never know otherwise unless you understand the name of, or understand the context or the meaning of their names. Now, when they say, which a hint here is the word Eliphaz. El is God. Anytime you read a name in the Bible that has El in it, Beth El, it means God. So apparently, somebody had a belief in God or a faith in God to name him this. My God is fine gold. Verse 5. Oh, sorry, we'll keep going in verse 4. And Bashemath bare Ruel. What's Ruel mean? Friend of God. There you go again. You would never know this unless you look at the definitions. And when I look at it again, I think Ruel, okay, God. He's a friend of God. You know, righteous men weren't confined to the genealogies or the generations of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and so forth. There were plenty of believers outside of the chosen line that Jesus would come from, because really that's what it's about. It's about tracing the line from Adam until Jesus, following that family line. That doesn't mean that anything outside of that family line from Adam to Jesus were unbelievers. Doesn't mean that at all. It doesn't mean that Ishmael was an unbeliever, or all of his posterity were unbelievers, or all of it was just like today. What we see today in our society, just because my father was a believer doesn't mean I was. Just because my father wasn't a believer doesn't mean that I'm not. People come to God, and people come to a relationship and a knowledge of the God of this universe, independent of their lineage, of their genealogy. So it's neat to see. Let's keep going. So we know that Ruel means a friend of God. Verse 5. And Ahilabama bare Jewish. Okay, what is I know that this doesn't have God in the name because there's no L. Jewish. So let's find out. And that's another thing, knowing how to pronounce these words, these names. So what is it, Ethan? Sure. Put some shoes on. You go outside. My son was sitting here listening to me, and I told him, I said, you can come in here and listen to me. I'm probably going to put you to sleep, though, because it's just going to be a bunch of, there's no story. It's just names. Oh, listen, I think it'll be interesting. Dad, can I go outside? So, Ada bare to Esau, Eliphaz, and Reuel, verse 5, and Abimelech bare Yeish, assembler. Not sure what that means. And some of these, you're like, well, okay, it adds no context. Sometimes it does. And Yalem. And I'm going to use the instead of trying to pronounce these the English version, the English pronunciation. I'm just gonna pronounce them per what's in the concordance in the Hebrew pronunciation. Concealed. And Korah, bald. Was Korah born bald without any hair? I know I have a son that he wasn't completely bald. He had black hair, but when he was born, he had very, very, a lot of babies are born bald. It's kind of a funny name, but that's what his name is, Korah. Verse 5, these are the sons of Esau, which were born unto him in the land of Canaan. Verse 6, and Esau took his wives and his sons and his daughters and all the persons of his house, and his cattle and his beasts and all his substance which he had got in the land of Canaan, and went into the country from the face of his brother Jacob. For their riches were more than they might dwell together, and the land wherein they were strangers could not bear them because of their cattle. We see this happen often. We saw this happen with Abraham and Lot. So we see this happening again with brothers where the land just can't sustain. They're growing and multiplying so fast and so abundantly. The land can't sustain both of their parties. Verse 8. Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Here's something that's interesting. Okay, Esau means hairy. Seir means hairy or shaggy, which you never quite know. Sometimes when they use words, names of places especially, whether that was the original name or whether that was the name that they understood when this record was written. Makes me wonder if Seir wasn't the original name, but that was the name that was given because Esau, who is hairy, inhabited that area, and his descendants might have been hairy as well. They may have been a hairy group of humans, of men, of family, and they called the mountains hairy or shaggy after their characteristics. You could easily say that the early Norwegians, you could call their land pink because they were pale and pink or red. I don't know. But it's interesting to know that Seir, where Esau afterwards and from that point on lived, was hairy, meant hairy or shaggy. I will continue. And it's very interesting, okay, in verse 8, thus dwelled Esau in the Mount Seir, making very specific, Esau is Edom. Esau is Edom. They're one and the same. 10. There are names, these names of Esau's sons are Eliphaz, the son of Edah, the wife of Esau, Reuel, the son of Bashemath, the wife of Esau. And the sons of Eliphaz, verse 11, were Teman, which just means south. Maybe he lived in the southern part of Esau's land, territory. Omar, speaker. Maybe when he was born, he was a babbler. One of my children, when they were born, from the day they were born, just babbled, constantly. I don't know. Maybe that was not his name when he was born. That's the thing. The names have meanings. Names reflect something about that person in the Bible. It's just, I'm always curious about these little details. And I would love to be able to go back and know and find out why, what it was about these names. Get the context like we have with Isaac, with Israel, with Jacob, with Abraham, why they were named those things. But we don't have that. Continue verse 11. Zepho, which is watchtower. Gadam, a burnt valley. Could it be, it's just my conjecture, that this child, Gadam, was born somewhere near or in the valley of Sodom and Gomorrah that was scorched by God? Burnt valley. Don't know. But it's interesting to know that that's his name, and it gets you at least ideas or gets you to think about it. And that's the whole idea. Get you thinking, just get the mind turning and questioning and wondering and yeah. All right. Kenaz. Hunter. Okay. Verse 12, and Timnah was concubine to Eliphaz, Esau's son, and she bare to him Eliphaz, Amalek, dweller in the valley, or in a valley. These were the sons of Adah, Esau's wife. Verse 13. And these were the sons of Ruel, Nahath, which means rest, Zerah, which means fear. What was going on? To name your child fear. Something traumatic must have been going on. Shema, astonishment. Again, interesting names. Mitzah, a fear, again. So we have two that are fear. We have Zerah. Oh, I'm sorry. I must have hit the wrong one. Zerah means rising. Mitzah means fear. Sorry. These were the sons of Beshemath, Esau's wife. And these were the sons of Ahalabama, the daughter of Anna, the daughter of Zibeon. Remember, means colored. Esau's wife, and she bore to Esau Yeish, which means assembler, Jalam, which means concealed. We went through these. And Korah, which means bald. These are the dukes. Now, this is Old English, so a duke is just a descendant of royalty, but are not the king or queen of all the land. They are chiefs, or they are governors of their district, their area, under the magistrate or under the king of them, which it might have been Esau, it might have been one of Esau's children, but it's just saying that these are the royal children of Esau, or these are the mayors, the magistrates of the area. Okay, so that's why it gets very redundant. Verse 16: Duke Korah, Duke Gadam, Duke Amalek. These are the dukes that came of Eliphaz in the land of Edom. These were the sons of Adah. And these are the sons of Ruel, Esau's son, Duke Nahath, Duke Zerah, Duke Shema, Duke Mitzah. These are the dukes that came of Ruel in the land of Edom. And these are the sons of Beshemath, Esau's wife. And these are the sons, verse 18, these are the sons of Ahalabama, Esau's wife, Duke Jeush, Duke Yalem, Duke Korah. These were the dukes that came of Ahalbelama, the daughter of Anah, Esau's wife. These are the sons of Esau, who is Edom. Again, being very clear, Esau is Edom. And these are the dukes, their dukes, and their sons of Seir, the Horite. Horite are the inhabitants of Mount Seir, the inhabitants of Edom, and the cave dwellers. Now, Horites you're going to hear that word again, you're going to hear that name again, the Horites, when Israel enters the land of Canaan and enters the land of promise. who inhabited the land, Lotan, which means covering. Shobal means flowing. Zibian means colored. We did that one. And Anah, which means answer. And Dishan means thresher. These are the dukes of the Horites, the children of Seir, the land of Edom. And the children of Lotan were Hori, cave dweller. So, let's back up. I think I just noticed something. These are the sons of Seir, the Horite, who inhabited the land. So did this name in So in 21 where it says, I'm sorry, I lost my place. In verse 22, the children of Lotan were Hori. Hori means cave dweller. Horite also means cave dweller. So I'm kind of wondering were the Horites the descendants of Hori, or was Hori named after people that lived in caves that didn't have that name yet? Does that make sense? Anyways, just mental curiosities. Okay, we'll continue. Verse 22. And Haman means exterminating. What was going on? When this child was born, was there an extermination order on their city? Or did he become an exterminator of people? Don't know. It just means to exterminate. And Lotan's sister, Lotan, meaning covering. Timma means restrained. Verse 23, and the children of Shobal were these, Alvan and Manahath and Ebal and Shepho and Onam. Okay. We know that Shobal means flowing. Flowing, again, flowing what? Did he have flowing hair? Did he have straight flowing? I don't know. Alvan, I didn't know that was a Hebrew word. That's a Hebrew name. Means tall. And Manahath means rest. Ebal means stone or bare mountain. Shepho means bold. And Onam means vigorous. Verse 24, and these are the children of Zibian. Again, Zibian being colored, both Aya, which means falcon, kind of reminds me of Native Americans. Could it be that when this child was born, there was a falcon flying overhead? Don't know, but that's what it means. And Anah means answer. This was the Anah that found the mules in the wilderness as he fed the asses of Zibian his father. So this is an event. He's saying this is the same person, that an event that everybody knew about or was common or known about. This is the same person. Now, do we know what that event is? Not here. We don't. We not at this point. But again, he says this was the same manna that found the mules in the wilderness as he fed the asses of Zibeon, his father. We don't know. Verse 25, and the children of Anah were these, Dishan and Ahabilamah, the daughter of Anah. And these are the children of Dishan, Hemdan, which means desire, and Eshban, which means discernment. Well, maybe Eshban was a wise person. Maybe he had the gift of discernment, like Solomon. Don't know. And Yithron, advantage. And Charan, lyre, like the instrument lyre, a lyre. Verse 27. The children of Itzar, treasure, are these Bilan, their decrepitude. Wow, what a name. To be named after their decrepitude. Wow, what was going on? That's a serious name. And Zavan, troubled. And Akan, sighted, sharp-sighted. Maybe the children of Ezra had it tough. Maybe there's a lot of conflict going on. I don't know. The children of Dishan are these: Uz, wooded, and Aram, joyous. These are the dukes that came from the Horites: Duke Lotan, Duke Shabal, Duke Zibeon, Duke Anah, Duke Dishan, Duke Gezer, Duke Dishan. These are the dukes that came from Hori, among the dukes in the land of Seir. And see, that's the thing. Why they go through the genealogies of who? These are the children of so and so. These are the children of so and so. And then they go back and they say, these are the duke, and they go back through the exact same name. These are the dukes of Duke. I don't know. It's kind of redundant, but there was a reason. Verse 31, and these are the kings, and this is where we're getting this. Take note, this is where it explains a little bit. These are the kings that reigned in the land of Edom before there reigned any kings over the children of Israel. So these are the kingdoms that are in Israel before, or in the land of Canaan, before Israel enters from the land of Egypt. Verse 32, and Bela, the son of Beor being burning. Bela being destruction. So Bela means destruction. Beor means burning. Reigned in Edom, and the name of his city was Dinabath. Give thou judgment, is what that means, Dinabath. Verse 33. Bela died, and Jobab, the son of Zerah of Basra, reigned in his stead. So Jobab means a desert. Zerah means rising. And Basra means sheepfold or fortress. Verse 34. And Jobab died, and Husham, means haste. Of the land of Tenami, which means, because we read about 10 months, which means south, or so this is, Tenami is southward. Reigned in his stead. And Husham died, and Hadad, means mighty, the son of Bedad, which means solitary, was who smote Midian in the field of Moab, reigned in his stead, and the name of the city was Avith. Midian means strife. Now Midian, we know that there was a Midian that was the descendant of Keturah, son of Abraham by Keturah. Now, was there a grandson or a great-grandson or a great-great-grandson or that was named after his great-great-grandfather? Was Midian from Keturah? The Midian that they speak of here, it's not the same. It's not Abraham's son. But it begs you to question, if his name is Midian, was this of the same family line as Keturah's son? And then this is actually an event that might have made the news or the stories people would have heard of, or it was a marking event, because they say Hushman died. Hadad, the son of Bedad, who smote Midian in the field of Moab, reigned in his stead, and the name of the city was Avith. Avith means ruins. There was obviously an event that marked this point in time that we have since lost and don't know about it. But it might have been just oral history that when the Bible was written, they knew, like, oh yeah, we know that story. Kind of like I don't know, one of our stories that we tell. So continuing, verse 36. And Hadad died, and Samlah means garment, of Mazreka, vineyard of noble vines, reigned in his stead. And Shamla died, and Saul, and this isn't the same Saul as King Saul, but it's the same name, Shaul, which means desired, of Rehoboth, by the river, reigned in his stead. 38, and Saul died, and now this is a very interesting name right here. We're going to get into some, again, the meanings add context. And Saul died, and Baal-Hanan, which this means Baal, we know who Baal is. Baal is gracious. So Baal worship is in full swing, apparently. We don't, when did Baal worship start? Not really sure. But Baal worship becomes a very predominant religion in Canaan, and it's something that the Israelites are constantly battling against. So this child that they're talking about, if I'm not mistaken, this is the first mention of Baal or anything of Baal in the Bible. But verse 38, And Saul died, and Hanan, the son of Akbor means mouse, reigned in his stead. So Baal is gracious. Wow. Okay. Verse 39. And Behanan, the son of Akbor, died, and Hadar, which means honor, reigned in his stead. And the name of the city was Payu, bleating. Payu means bleeding. And his wife's name was Mahedabah, favored of God. So again, when here we have Baal Hanan, which is Baal has been gracious. We have Mahet Abel, which means favored of God. Mahet Abel. So do they mean God of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob, the God of the universe, or do they mean some strange God? Don't know. And the daughter of Matred, pushing forward, and Mazahab, waters of gold. Verse 40. And these are the names of the dukes that came of Esau, according to their families, after the places by their names: Duke Timnah, Duke Alva, Duke Japheth. Japheth means nail. Alva means evil. Wow. Duke Alva, Duke Japheth or Japheth. Duke Ahalabama, Duke Elah, which means an oak. Duke Pinon means darkness. The Duke of darkness. Wow. Okay. 42. Duke Kenez, which means hunter. Duke Teman, which means south. And Duke Mibzar, which means fortress. Duke Magdil, which means Prince of God. See, we see plenty of references to God, and these very well could be the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Again, our parents do not determine our faith, so a believer doesn't mean that their children are going to be believers. And if your parents are unbelievers, doesn't believe that you're going to be an unbeliever. It has influence, yes, but it doesn't mean that that's going to be the answer, the total sum of your life, that's going to be the final answer in your life. And we see that throughout the Bible, that we have people that are referencing God or respecting God in names. So, yeah. Magdael, Prince of God. Duke Iram, belonging to a city. These be the dukes of Edom, according to their habitations, and in the land of their possessions. He is Esau, the father of the Edomites. And the Edomites, God does not like the Edomites. Now, is that to say that every single person that was born of Esau was wicked and hated by God? No. But in general, the Edomites become a very wicked, very idolatrous people. And they cause a lot of problems with Israel. So I know that that was a lot of names, but it's good to know that it's good to know what they mean. It adds some color. So yeah, this wasn't as backfilling with stories and connections, but I promise you, these names, you're going to hear a lot of these names again when Israel comes out of Egypt and into the land of Canaan. And that's why it's important that these names were mentioned, that the genealogies are listed out, because it's going to come full circle. And the Bible has a way of doing that. Things come full circle over and over and over many times in the Bible. So I'll leave it at that. We're going to jump into 37. We're going to get into some I love it all. I love the story behind it all. The origins and the Genesis. Genesis is an amazing, beautiful book. So have a wonderful day, and we will see you again later. God bless.